For the past 12 years, since our son Marcus became a student at the Camphill School, my husband and I have often said, can you imagine what life would be like without Camphill for Marcus? Unfortunately, last March 2020, we unexpectedly found out when Pennsylvania shut the schools due to the pandemic. Granted, it wasn't permanent, but it was a long-term enough, unwanted experiment as to how Marcus would do without Camphill. First, I just have to say how far Marcus has come at the school and the farm. The whole community has just taken the time to discover who he uniquely and truly is, and this care has just transformed him from being trapped in distress to just participating freely with peace and even joy. And I just think of him refusing to move at one point, to taking long hikes and not being able to stay in a building, and then being in the school play, and just how he's come from a diagnosis of failing to thrive to thriving here and failing to meet a limited prognosis of what he would be able to do. But we had no idea that a terrible path of regression laid right before us when we had to come pick up our students as soon as possible last March. And we love having Marcus home, but we're usually prepared for breaks. And during the lockdown, it unraveled. It became an emergency crisis situation for our family. All of Marcus's old behaviors were back, just aggression and self-injury and not sleeping. And he was suffering. He couldn't understand what was going on, why we couldn't do things, why he couldn't go back to Camphill, his home away from home. And it was heartbreaking. And basically the model of Camphill, just this beautiful model of many hands working to support the needs of our kids, it works, and we could not replicate it at home by ourselves during the pandemic. And meanwhile, the school was working tirelessly to advocate to reopen, and when they were able to reopen for students in emergency situations like Marcus, it was a godsend for us. And despite COVID risks and his immune deficiency, we felt comfortable sending him back to the school. We knew they would implement safety protocols very well with their continued dedication, incredible dedication to our students. And they have just done a phenomenal job this whole past school year with everyone returned, but even in limited cohorts and activities. And Marcus is back to his thriving, well self in this amazing community that just brings out the best in our kids. And he truly is safe and sound, and we're so grateful. And we're so thankful that we don't have to experience what life would be like without the Camphill School.